Imagine a place, a very, very busy place. This place is called Elementara. It is not like our world. It is a world of tiny, tiny things. These things are called atoms. They are the building blocks of everything, absolutely everything. You, me, the stars, a piece of cheese, all made of atoms. In Elementara, these atoms are alive. They have personalities, they have feelings, sort of. And mostly they feel a bit jittery. They zoom around, they bounce and they spin. It's quite a commotion, really. These atoms in Elementara possess a great deal of energy. Think of a child who has had too much sugar. That's an atom in Elementara. They have this buzzing energy inside them. This energy makes them restless. It makes them want to do something. But they're not always sure what. They feel incomplete. They feel a bit lonely, too. Each atom on its own often feels like something is missing. A deep yearning for connection, for a sense of belonging, echoes through the vibrant, chaotic land. This feeling pushes them to explore. The biggest wish for most atoms in Elementara is stability. They want to be calm. They want to be settled. This high-energy state is tiring. It is like constantly running a race. They dream of a peaceful existence, a state where they don't have to zoom and whiz so much, where they can just be. This desire for stability is the main story of Elementara. It is what drives almost every atom you meet. It is a quest, a very important quest, a quest for a quiet life, in a way. So Elementara is this incredible kingdom. It is filled with these individual atoms. Each one is a tiny speck of potential. Each one is on a journey. They are searching for something. They are searching for other atoms. They hope that by finding others they can find peace. They believe that together they might achieve this longed-for stability. This is the tale of how they learn to connect, how they learn to form bonds, and how, through these bonds, they find a new kind of strength and calm. It's quite a story, their story. Now, not all atoms in Elementara are desperately searching. There's a special group, a very calm group. These are the noble gases. Think of them as the cool kids, or perhaps the wise old hermits. They are perfectly happy on their own. Atoms like helium, neon, and argon belong to this exclusive club. They float around with an air of complete satisfaction. They don't need anyone else. They're already stable, completely and utterly stable. It's quite something to see. Other atoms look at the noble gases with a mixture of awe and envy. How do they do it, they wonder? The noble gases have just the right amount of everything they need. Their outer parts, their electron shells, are full, perfectly full. This fullness gives them their calm. They don't have that nagging feeling of incompleteness. They are serene, they are content, they simply drift through Elementara. They observe the chaos of the other atoms with a gentle, knowing smile. They are the picture of atomic peace. You see, atoms have these things called electrons. Electrons live in shells around the atom's center. Most atoms feel best when their outermost shell is full. The noble gases, they are born that way. Helium only needs 2 electrons in its outer shell, and it has them. Neon and argon need 8, and they have them. It's like having a complete collection of your favorite toys. There's no need to search for more. There's no desire to give any away. They are self-sufficient. This makes them very, very special in the bustling world of Elementara. So while the other atoms zip and dart, searching for partners, the noble gases are the epitome of stability. They don't form bonds with other atoms easily. Why would they? They are already perfect in their own atomic way. They serve as a kind of ideal. They show what all the other atoms are striving for, a state of balance, a state of peace. The noble gases are a quiet reminder in Elementara, a reminder of the tranquility that comes with completeness. They are the silent teachers of this energetic kingdom. Let's meet an atom named sodium. Sodium is a metal, a very active metal. Sodium is not like the noble gases at all. Sodium is, to put it mildly, a bit frantic. It has 1 electron in its outermost shell, just 1. And this 1 electron makes sodium very, very reactive. It's like having a hot potato that it desperately wants to pass on. This extra electron buzzes with an uncomfortable energy. Sodium feels it would be so much happier if it could just get rid of this 1 lone electron. It zips around Elementara, practically shouting, "Does anyone want an electron?" This single electron in its outer shell makes sodium feel unbalanced. It wants that shell to be empty, so the next shell down, which is full, becomes its outer shell. That would bring it closer to the stability of a noble gas. So Sodium is always on the lookout. It's eager. It's ready to give away its electron to the first suitable taker. This makes sodium quite excitable. It has a spark, a literal spark sometimes, when it reacts. It is a highly motivated atom, driven by this urgent need to offload its tiny burden. Its existence is a constant search for relief. Now let's consider another atom. This one is chlorine. Chlorine is a non-metal, and chlorine has a different problem, but it's a problem that makes it just as agitated as sodium. Chlorine has 7 electrons in its outermost shell. 7, it is so close to having a full shell of 8, so very close. It needs just one more electron to achieve that perfect stable state. This makes chlorine very greedy for an electron. It goes around Elementara with a strong craving. I need an electron, it seems to whisper desperately to every atom it passes. Chlorine can almost taste the stability. That one missing electron is all that stands between it and the calm enjoyed by the noble gases. This intense desire makes chlorine highly reactive. It's like being incredibly thirsty and seeing a glass of water just out of reach. So we have sodium, desperate to give an electron away, and we have chlorine, desperate to gain one. They are both full of restless energy. They are both seeking stability. You can probably guess what might happen if these two ever meet. It's a classic setup for some atomic drama. One day, in the bustling land of Elementara, sodium zoomed past chlorine. Their paths crossed. For a moment, time seemed to slow down. Sodium, with its extra electron buzzing annoyingly. Chlorine, with its one empty spot practically crying out to be filled. They sensed each other. Sodium felt chlorine's strong pull. Chlorine felt sodium's eagerness to give. It was an instant connection, a powerful attraction. The air crackled with anticipation. This was it, the moment they had both been waiting for, though they didn't know it. With a tiny energetic whoosh, sodium's extra electron leaped. It jumped right across the space separating them. It flew from sodium's outer shell directly into chlorine's waiting outer shell. Zap! Just like that. Sodium sighed a huge sigh of relief. Its outer shell was now empty, revealing the full shell beneath. It felt lighter, calmer, more stable. It had become a sodium ion, with a positive charge because it lost a negatively charged electron. It was a happy change, a very welcome change indeed for restless sodium. Chlorine at the exact same moment felt a surge of satisfaction. The new electron slotted perfectly into its vacant spot. Its outer shell was now complete, 8 electrons. Just like a noble gas. Chlorine let out a contented hum. It felt stable. It felt whole. It had become a chloride ion with a negative charge because it gained an electron. This new state was wonderful. The craving was gone, replaced by a deep sense of peace. The transformation was immediate and profound. It was everything chlorine had ever wanted. Now, something interesting happened. Sodium was positive, chlorine was negative, and opposites attract. They were drawn to each other by a strong electrical force. This attraction held them together. They formed a bond, a special kind of bond called an ionic bond. They were no longer just sodium and chlorine, they were now sodium chloride. You know it as common table salt, the very salt you put on your food. Together they were much more stable and much less reactive than they were apart. They had found unity, and in unity they found peace. Section 5. The Sharing Circle, Oxygen's Big Search. Not all atoms in Elementara find partners like sodium and chlorine. Some atoms prefer to share. Let's meet oxygen. Oxygen is a very important atom. We need it to breathe. Oxygen is quite reactive too. It has 6 electrons in its outer shell. It needs 2 more to become stable. 2 more to get that lovely full outer shell of 8 electrons. So oxygen is also on a quest. It is looking for other atoms, atoms that can help it fill those 2 empty spots. It's not as keen on giving electrons away, nor aggressively grabbing them entirely. Oxygen floats through Elementara. It is a bit like someone looking for a couple of friends to complete a team. Anyone out there willing to share? It seems to call out. It doesn't want to take electrons completely like chlorine did. That's not really oxygen's style. It's more about cooperation. It's looking for a different kind of arrangement, a partnership based on sharing. This search can be frustrating at times. Finding the right partners, willing to share in just the right way, isn't always easy. Oxygen needs a specific kind of connection. Sometimes oxygen might find another oxygen atom. They can try to share with each other, and they do. 2 oxygen atoms can share electrons to help each other feel more stable. This forms a molecule of oxygen gas, O2, the very gas we breathe. This sharing helps, but each oxygen atom is still looking for that perfect sense of completeness. The bond between two oxygen atoms is strong. It shows that sharing is a good strategy. But oxygen is versatile. It can form bonds with many different types of atoms, not just its own kind. So oxygen's story is one of seeking sharing partners. It represents another way atoms in Elementara can find stability. Not through giving and taking electrons entirely, but through a more mutual arrangement. This method of bonding is crucial for many substances in Elementara. Oxygen's quest for two more electrons drives it to interact with many other elements. It is a popular atom in high demand. Its journey to find sharing partners is key to forming some of the most essential compounds known in their world and in ours. Section 6. Hydrogen's helping hands, a covalent connection. Now let's bring in hydrogen. Hydrogen is the smallest, simplest atom of all. It has just one electron, only one. Its outer shell, which is its only shell, can hold 2 electrons. So, hydrogen would be much happier if it could get one more electron. Or if it could share its one electron with another atom. Hydrogen is very sociable in this way. It's always looking for a partner or partners. It's not fussy, it just wants to achieve that stable, full shell, a tiny atom with a big desire for connection. One day, our oxygen atom, still searching for its 2 electrons, bumps into 2 hydrogen atoms. Each hydrogen atom has its 1 electron. Each hydrogen atom is looking to share. Oxygen looks at the 2 hydrogens. The hydrogens look at oxygen. An idea sparks between them. Oxygen needs 2 electrons. Each hydrogen has 1 electron to share and needs 1 in return. This could work out perfectly. It's like finding the exact right puzzle pieces. The potential for a strong mutual bond is clear to all 3. So they decide to team up. The oxygen atom shares 1 of its electrons with 1 hydrogen atom. That hydrogen atom, in turn, shares its electron with oxygen. They form a shared pair. Now that hydrogen atom feels like it has 2 electrons, and oxygen is part way there. Then oxygen does the same with the second hydrogen atom. It shares another of its electrons with the second hydrogen, and the second hydrogen shares its electron back with oxygen. Another shared pair is formed. It's a beautiful arrangement. This type of bond, where atoms share electrons, is called a covalent bond. It's like a group of friends holding hands. Each atom feels like it has a full outer shell because of the sharing. The oxygen atom now effectively has access to 8 electrons in its outer shell. Each hydrogen atom effectively has access to 2. They are all much more stable together than they were apart. And what have they formed? They have formed H2O water, the substance that makes life possible. A truly remarkable outcome from a simple act of sharing between atoms. Section 7. The Sea of Shared Spirit, the Metallic Brotherhood. There is another important group of atoms in Elementara. These are the metals. Atoms like iron, copper, and gold. These atoms are strong, they are shiny, they conduct electricity. They have a very special way of bonding together. It's not like the give and take of ionic bonds. It's not quite like the specific sharing of covalent bonds either. It's something unique, something communal. The metals form a kind of brotherhood, or perhaps a sisterhood, a collective, you might say. Metals generally have a few electrons in their outer shells that they are not too tightly attached to. These electrons are a bit loose. When lots of metal atoms get together, they do something amazing. They all agree to share their loose outer electrons, but not just with one neighbor. They share them with all the metal atoms around them. It's like a big community pool of electrons. These electrons don't belong to any single atom anymore. They are free to move around. They flow between all the metal atoms. This creates what scientists call a sea of electrons. Imagine all the metal atoms sitting closely packed together, and all around them and through them flows this sea of shared electrons. The sea of electrons acts like a powerful glue. It holds all the metal atoms together very strongly. This is called a metallic bond. It's what makes metal so strong and tough. It's why you can bend a piece of metal instead of it snapping like a dry twig. The atoms can slide past each other, but the electron sea keeps them connected. This free movement of electrons also explains why metals are good conductors of electricity and heat. Electricity is just moving electrons, and in metals the electrons are already moving freely. So if you push some electrons in one end of a wire, they can easily move through this sea and pop out the other end. This metallic bonding is a fantastic example of communal strength. Individual metal atoms on their own might not be so impressive, but together, sharing their electrons in this vast network, they become incredibly useful and robust materials. It's unity on a grand metallic scale. Section 8. The marvels of togetherness, new powers emerge. When atoms in Elementara form these bonds, an ionic, covalent or metallic, something truly magical happens. They don't just become more stable, they form new things, new substances called compounds or molecules. And these new substances have completely different properties from the original atoms. It's like mixing flour, eggs and sugar. Separately, they are just ingredients. But mix them and bake them and you get a cake. Something entirely new and often much more interesting. It's the same with atoms. Think about sodium and chlorine. Sodium is a soft silvery metal that reacts explosively with water. Chlorine is a poisonous greenish-yellow gas. Not things you'd want to have around for dinner, but when they form an ionic bond, they become sodium chloride, common salt, a white crystal that adds flavor to our food. It's essential for life. The dangerous properties of sodium and chlorine are gone, replaced by the familiar, useful properties of salt. This transformation is astounding. It is a direct result of their bond. Consider oxygen and hydrogen. Hydrogen is a very flammable gas. Oxygen supports burning. Put them together in a covalent bond and you get H2O, water. Water puts out fires. It is essential for drinking, for washing, for growing plants. Life as we know it would be impossible without water. Again, the properties of the individual atoms are completely changed. The new molecule, water, has its own unique set of characteristics. These characteristics are beneficial. They are life-sustaining, all thanks to the sharing of electrons and the metals like iron or copper held together by their metallic bonds. Individual iron atoms are just tiny particles, but when they bond together, they form a strong, hard metal. We can build bridges with it. We can make tools. Copper, with its excellent conductivity, allows electricity to flow, powering our homes and devices. The communal sharing of electrons gives metals their strength, their malleability, their shine, and their ability to conduct. These are all new powers, powers that emerge only when atoms unite. It's a powerful lesson in synergy. Section 9, the Festival of Bonds, Unity's enduring song. And so the kingdom of Elementara transformed. It was once a place of restless individual atoms, each seeking something, each feeling a bit incomplete. But now it was a land of connections, a land of partnerships, a land of shared existence. Atoms had learned to give and take. They had learned to share. They had learned to join a vast community. Ionic bonds, covalent bonds, metallic bonds, all these connections wove a rich tapestry of new substances, new stabilities, new strengths. The entire kingdom buzzed with a new kind of energy, a calmer, more purposeful energy. The atoms decided to hold a great celebration, the Festival of Bonds. Atoms from all corners of Elementara came together. The newly formed sodium chloride crystals shimmered. Droplets of water glistened, reflecting the joy. The strong metals gleamed, showing off their resilience. Even the noble gases attended, observing with their serene smiles. They were happy to see their fellow atoms finally find their own versions of stability. It was a festival of unity, a celebration of the incredible power of togetherness. There was much rejoicing. The lesson was clear to everyone. Individual atoms, with their frantic energy and loneliness, found peace when they connected. They found stability, but they also found something more. They found that by uniting, they could create things far greater than themselves. Salt that gives taste, water that gives life, metals that build and power civilizations. These compounds, these new structures had properties and abilities that the lone atoms could only dream of. The whole became so much more than the sum of its parts. This was the true magic of Elementara. As the festival continued, the atoms sang a song of unity, a song of bonds. They sang of how giving, sharing, and community had brought peace and purpose to their world. The kingdom of elements was no longer just a collection of individuals, it was a network, a system, a beautiful, intricate dance of connection. And the most important lesson they all learned, a lesson that echoed through every valley,